So in this video we will be learning that how to memorize the direct acting cholinergic agonist, the main actions of the direct acting cholinergic agonist. From now on I will call it DACA. Here we will start with the pilocarpine or the pilocarpine. You can imagine that there is a sack or there is a net here, like there is a net and there are many fishes in there. There are like many fishes, and you can imagine there is a sea right here. So you can imagine that there is a pile up fish in a net, trapped in the net. And if you can imagine that they're directly out of the sea, so you can imagine that the water is dripping out of their mouth, or is dripping out of their mouth. Or you can also imagine in terms of pilocarpine, that is a pile up cars. So from here you can remember that pilocarpine is used to like treat the dry mouth, because you can imagine here there is a water dripping, so it increases the salivation. And for the dry mouth it is used for the xerostomia. It is used for the treatment of the xerostomia. Then from this water you can also imagine that it is used for in reversing the mydriasis due to atropine, used in ophthalmology, decrease the intraocular pressure, hence it is used for the acute glaucoma attack. So there a basic thing you need to remember is the water. From the word water you can imagine that there is a water dripping out of the fish mouth, that is the increasing salivation, treatment of the xerostomia. And from the eyes you can see that in the tears there is also water, so it is used for reversing the mydriasis, acute glaucoma attack treatment. For butanochol, you can imagine that there is a person whose name is Beth, and he's working in a water pipe something factory. You can imagine that there is a person standing here, and he is holding a pipe of water. So this person name is Beth. He is holding a pipe of water. From this pipe you can imagine that there's a colon, so it is used in the treatment of the megacolon. Number 2, it is also from this water you can remember that it is used to stimulate urination. It is used to stimulate urination for the treatment of urinary retention. And from this colon you can imagine that it increases the GI motility. So this I need to want to repeat that this direct acting cholinergic agonist, we have acetylcholine, butanochol, carbachol, and pilocarpine. Only carbachol is stimulated both by muscarinic receptors and nicotinic receptors, carbachol and acetylcholine. Whereas you remember acetylcholine is the main drug. For carbachol it is stimulated by both. Now how to remember that it is stimulated by both, and what are the actions of the carbachol? You can imagine that a 2-story building, a person is standing down there and it is smoking. You know the main component of a smoke is nicotine, and the person standing up there is inhaling all that smoke. So this means that the person if you concentrate on this word carb, it is like a contaminated kind of sort of thing, like a very contaminated thing. Now when the person who is smoking and the person right there whose name is basically carb is inhaling all that nicotine, in this way you can remember that it has both nicotinic and this receptors. Now for carbachol, when he has almost inhaled a lot of that smoke, then it will lead to the constriction of the pupil, decrease in the intraocular pressure. So in this way we can remember this carbachol. And this way we have studied this carbachol, pilocarpine, butanochol. And you know that acetylcholine is basically used in almost everything. It has got very variety of actions. Here I have illustrated a short one, you can read it from here. But main thing we used to remember that it is contraindicated in I'm not sure I've mentioned or not. Okay, one last drug I forgot to mention is the methacholine. Methacholine is also for the muscarinic receptors. In how to remember that? Now, if you have imagined a scene where a person is smoking nicotine, a person carb who is inhaling all that smoke, and pilocarpine is the pile up fishes in a net. Water is dripping out of their mouth. At the same time, what was the name of that person who was holding a pipe? that was who is he? He was, yeah, he was Beth here. For the methacholine, you can imagine that a marathon race, a person running there, they get short of the breath, they need like their oral mucosa dries up, they need something for the asthma attack. So in this way you can remember that methacholine from the marathon. I hope my explanation was, but I know it was not very clear, but that was just a small try. Thank you.